I've been talking to you about intimacy with God, and tonight, as I was thinking about the next step, I think that step needs to be a step back and to slow down and really think this through. I've been talking about the story of the Garden of Eden and the relationship between God and Adam and Eve, and was kind of hurrying on towards Abraham. But tonight I wanted to pause and go back and make sure that I understand, that we understand really what that relationship in the garden was from God's point of view. And when we talk about intimacy, we're talking really about the heart of God, not God's mind or God's actions, but we're really talking about his heart, and more importantly, we're talking about God's feelings. And I think this is an area that we've really kind of rushed through. We're maybe uncertain about our own feelings or uncomfortable about talking about our own feelings, and I think it would only make sense that we'd be a little uncomfortable at talking about the feelings of the Lord. But I was rereading that story. It's the second creation story, really. It's the one where God says that he created the heavens and the earth, and then before there was any bush in the field, before there were any plants, before God had made it rain, before there was any man to or person to cultivate the fields, said that the Lord formed the man out of the dust of the earth and breathed into him the breath of life. And this struck me as kind of interesting that the first creation story, which is chapter 1, everything is very systematic. Everything follows one thing upon another. It's very structured. The first day, God creates light. The second day, he creates this. Third day, he creates that. Fourth, and there's a very structured progression that moves, and nothing's out of order, out of place. It's very orderly. But in the second one, you sense that the Lord has this plan where he's going to plant bushes in the field and plants in the field, and there's going to be a garden, and there's going to be a person to cultivate it. But it's like before he really gets everything ready, he rushes into creating a human being. And I wondered why. Why not the structured step by step? Why would he hurry and create the man first, before the garden was ready, before the plants were ready, before it even rained? Why? And so as you read through that story in chapter 2, God says this about after he created Adam, the man. He said, "It is not good for the man to be alone." And this is what struck me tonight. How would God know that? Of course, God knows everything. So if we think about it only from the point of view of his mind or ideas, God would say, hey, it's not good for a man to be alone. And a lot of times, or at least I've looked at it this way, that, a man's not, it's not good for him to be alone. It's not good for him to be on his own. He needs somebody to help him. And I think that is truth. I mean, that is a true perspective, because God, later on in the story, creates, in fact, his helpmate, a helper, a companion, a partner, to help him with this task. And so that's certainly true. But the thing struck me is when God says it's not good to be alone, how would he know how that feels? In other words, it's not good for man to be alone because loneliness is above all a feeling. And so there was something in God, I think, that understood about loneliness. And so whatever else we may say in God creating us as human beings, I think one of the things that we need to understand is that God created us for companionship, because in some sense, God was alone. He felt a loneliness, a need for companionship, a need for fellowship, a need for partnership. He needed a need for relationship with something outside of himself. We believe in the Trinity and Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and the interrelationship of the Trinity. But could it be that in the heart of God, we were created to fill a loneliness within God, a longing within God? I think that's a good idea, and I think we need to explore that more. God bless you.